Hi guys, so this video is an interview that I did with Amy Hernandez. So she wanted to ask me some questions about my takes about music platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer. So that was a very interesting conversation and I thought you would like to hear it and maybe you're gonna learn a thing or two about this world that we don't talk about that much because that's kind of the new music business, so I think you're gonna find it interesting. I hope you're gonna find it interesting. So let's go. Let's do this.
Thank you so much for being open to do this interview, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm ready.
Okay, perfect then. So the first question is, when did you start your music career?
I started when I finished my school in music, so I studied in singing. And then right away, after school, I passed some auditions and I joined like bands. But that was just for like performance. So I was just singing overseas in hotels and then, like hired to sing for corporate events for companies and stuff like that. So it was like cover bands. I was singing cover songs. And then after a few years in this field, I was telling myself, okay, that's not what I want to do. I really want to release music and become a solo artist and have my own project. So the first song that I released as Veronna, like a solo act, was in August 2017 that I released it. It was just a single, one song. And so that's it. I released it. Do you want me to explain how I released it, or do you have other?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically I didn't have a label or any company for my project, so I released it independently. So I used it's a company called CD Baby. I don't know if you heard about it. So they are called like a distributor for indie artists, and you basically you just upload your song. They ask you like all the details: who wrote it, who's singing, and they put the song for you on the streaming platforms.
Oh, so you
All
don't
of
have
them.
the work of like putting every single like in every single
No,
streaming.
exactly. So they kind of play the role not of the label because they will not promote it. They will not do anything. They will just put it there, make it available. So there are a couple. Now I'm using DistroKid, so that's the same principle. So basically, the first company that I use, CD Baby, you pay per song or per album, and it's gonna stay there forever. And the other companies that I've been trying, there's TuneCore, DistroKid, and many others. And some of them it's like a membership. You pay like $20, $30, sometimes a little bit more per year, and you can upload whatever you like.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Aha, you're learning. So it's very, very easy to upload to streaming platforms. What's not easy is to get the music heard by fans.
Yeah,
So, but at least to be available, it's not very hard. Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how do you view music streaming services like then when you started versus now? And like, do you consider them when recording a new song, let's say?
Um, when I released my first song in 2017 and then my first album the year after, I was not even using them. I was still buying my music on iTunes so I was a little old school, a little late to catch the boat, I think. So I just like, okay, I'm going to put it there anyway, whatever. And it was what was nice is that at that time there were still people buying albums on iTunes, so I made a little bit of money out of that. And then since I released music, then the last 3 years the same way, but now people don't buy albums anymore, or they're not gonna buy just one song. So I've been releasing a lot of singles, and how I view them is like it's basically the Limewire. Are you too young to know Limewire?
No, I
No, you don't.
remember.
You remember that? It's kind of like making LimeWire legal and people are
Yeah,
making profit out of it, but not really the artist. That's how I
that's
view
true.
it. So it's
Mhm.
like but they are changing. I see that Spotify is trying to be better. We often talk about Spotify because they are the one who pay the less, the artists, but they
Mhm.
are the more like the most popular.
Yeah.
So every artist has to be on Spotify. It's like if you're not there, you're gonna be nowhere for a lot of people. But so it's a hard question to answer. It's kind of love and hate. You know,
Mhm.
we like to be everywhere and to be heard for new fans and stuff like that. So I think if you view them as promotional um, expenses, you're gonna be less sad than if you think you're gonna make money out of it.
Mhm.
So if you say, okay, I have a budget, I'm putting my songs there, I'm gonna pay, for example, publicity so that the people are streaming. You pay a Instagram ad, and then people slide and whoop the page they are relinked to Spotify, for example. Well, I mean, per click, it's gonna cost you way more to have new fans than what you're gonna make for the streams. But you never know. Like you might make fans that are actually gonna go to your concerts or buy your merch or become like, for me, it's each time that I release a single, I get more students like for my vocal coaching lessons. So that's more my strategy. I sell my singing classes. I'm gonna record like a songwriting class that's gonna be on my website pretty soon. So it's like I'm using them more for publicity than. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in that note, do you have a preference for any of the services? Like I like the one in Apple Music. I know that Spotify is the most famous one, and I'm pretty sure like you said, they all have like all the artists need to be there essentially. But do you have a preference?
Um, I mean, as a consumer, I have Spotify because I really like their algorithmic playlist. I think, or just also their curator playlists. They're really good. Like if I want, I don't know, I want a new disco playlist or I want a funky playlist. Like they're always really top notch. But if I just want to listen to albums or stuff like that per artist, I would go with Tidal.
I know.
Yeah, Tidal. I mean, they just pay more the artist per stream, so I mean, my conscience is better. And yeah, so but to discover new music, I think Spotify is the best.
Yeah, and I think the title has a better audio, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
Better
heard
sound
that.
quality, and
Mhm.
and also like for DJs, I don't know if there are other platforms that allow this, but when you want to mix, like do a DJ set, you can link it to Tidal directly, and it's like really easy to. Anyways, it's a little technical, but it's like because the sound quality is so good, they allow DJ to mix the songs directly linked to the platform, so that's very nice.
Hmm, okay.
Mm.
Well, you did mention already that you use it as like an advertising for your vocal classes
Yeah.
especially. But one of my questions was if you as an artist find these platforms easy to navigate, not on the side of you having Spotify for your own personal life, but mostly as an artist, like is it easy to navigate and you find it like a great way to communicate with your fans? Even though that already with the side of vocal, that's a very good way to advertise it, but in your like where you have Verona music on Spotify, do you find it easy to to communicate with your fans, or
Through
is it?
Spotify directly?
Hmm.
No, there's no way to communicate with the fans.
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
thing. That's what they should maybe become kind of an Instagram. That would be nice. Like if really we could see who follows you, who likes your song, and I think it would make
Hmm.
the relationship like much better because the fans that I have on Spotify are not even the same as on Instagram because I had different like tactics, and I mean some of them, yes, they are, but yeah, no, I don't find it easy. I mean it's impossible to know. They don't,
Hmm.
the only data that they give you that is very nice. You have an app when you're an artist. It's called Spotify for Artists,
Hmm.
So when you have music out, you can access it and have your account. And basically, what's fun is that you can see per song like how many streams per day and where the streams are coming from, like what city, what country, and also what playlist, like if you've been added to playlist. And it's fun. Sometimes I see like all the private playlists, like everybody who puts my songs on their private
Huh.
playlist. So it's very, that's that's very cute. Like I can see all the playlists. So that's an app that I really like. And also you can, I mean, you can also really easily customize your, you know, your biography or stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I didn't find it easy for Apple Music. I know they have an app, and same for Deezer and Amazon, but I have it's a nightmare connecting to them. Like because I have Apple, like I have a Mac, I have iPads and iPhones and stuff. They kind of
Hmm.
mix up my private account with my artist account, and I have like I'm not even able to connect. But
Oh.
anyways, so Spotify is way easier. So I just check my stats on Spotify. But yeah,
Hmm. Okay. Well, at least Spotify is a bit easier, but
mm,
I think my question is kind of redundant now because I was gonna ask like if you thought that music streaming services were positive or negative thing for artists such as yourself, but I feel like you already said like good things and bad things about it, you know? It's like
yeah,
it's
it's a
good for
gray
one thing.
zone. It's a gray zone.
Yeah.
Like, but like in 2024, Spotify has a new rule. It's not a rule, but it's like all the songs that have below 1,000 streams are just not gonna receive anything. So
Oh.
there's a lot of people who were like upset about it, but when you think about it, 1,000 doesn't even make you 25 cents.
Oh,
So
wow.
I mean, if they can keep that money for artists who go beyond this and pay them better, because there are so many. I mean, I explained to you, it's so easy. Like you could get a song that is just like noise.
Yeah.
You could just pay a little company like DistroKid or CD Baby. You could put that noise that is not even music on the platform. It's very easy. So I think what like why those like these noises or you know not professional music, why should they even bother to give them 1 cent, you know? So they just, because there are millions of them, millions and millions, and I mean it's most like I think it's half of the songs are just not professional and noises. So I think it's a good thing that all the money like they're, but it's a test year, you know, it's the first year they have that rule. But me, I think it's a good thing because it's easy when you're a professional artist. It's pretty easy to have more than 1,000 streams. So I mean, let's make the streams more valuable once you hit that threshold. But there are, on the other hand, there's a lot of people like in the industry, musicians and labels who think that it should be like, for example, you pay $10 a month and you listen to mostly 5 artists. Well,
Hmm.
your personal $10 should go to these 5 artists in your month, and not to like whatever Drake, that if you don't listen to him or what, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
why should he, or why should art big artists should have more if you don't even want to pay for them, you know?
That that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. So you think that Spotify, the way it pays, it's everyone and not just, let's say me, I listen to these five people, so my money goes to them. It just
No,
goes.
exactly. Like basically, what I've been doing some research and I took some classes with like the SOCAN, that is the that's not a company, but it's an association in Canada that takes our. I mean, they go ask for our royalties, Canadian artists, and then they give it to us. Like it's an association that every musician have to be part of in Canada.
Mhm.
So them, SOCAN, and then other associations. Basically, what I understood is like, for example, if in January in Canada, the Canadians paid 10 million, I don't know, ten
Mhm.
million dollars to Spotify. Well, they're just gonna like say, and then there's gonna be, I don't know how many streams, like let's say 100 million streams. That's way more. My numbers are very bad. Well, okay,
Uh-huh.
let's say $1 million, $1 million, and then 100 million streams. Well, they're gonna split. this million in the one. But then the next month they still have $1 million, but they have 200 million streams. So it's the same 1 million because I don't know, someone went crazy and listened to 100 times of the same song.
Yeah.
Well, it's all of our money and not just the money of that crazy person who spent it, you know.
Oh, okay.
So if you pay for it and you don't listen that much, well, you're still gonna have to share your money with all of the streams of the month, and not just the artists that you want to encourage.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So that's
it's
that's kind of the problem, but they would need a completely new algorithm and to calculate all of that. So that's why the thing of the 1,000 stream threshold, it's not the best, but it's
Mhm.
a little better. But at the same time, it's sad because if you pay $10 and you just listen to really really indie stuff, but they don't even get 1,000 stream, well, your $10 is not even gonna pay for the artist that you like.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
sad, honestly. I didn't know that. So
So that's why
it's
now a lot of artists are kind of trying to promote, the Patreon model. Like, if you like what I do, please pay three
yeah.
dollars per month, a
Mm-hmm.
little extra, but that you're gonna have a lot of advantages, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna go to me personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, no, for sure. And I've heard that with the Patreon for a lot of different ways of like YouTubers and other stuff
Yeah,
even.
and there's
So
another company, I think it's Vault, that it's like a Patreon, but just for musician. So
Mhm.
it's a new. I mean, musicians are brainstorming a lot right now to find ideas because the model just doesn't work.
Yeah, like it's funny that you say that, people who just are not as professional, who just making noises and everything, but a lot of people from TikTok and Instagram, I see so many new artists,
Hmm.
that they're getting discovered there, and they have like one good song sometimes, like as
Hmm.
in like they make one song that's like super popular and like is in every reel, but then nothing happens, so they have to continue doing something crazy to advertise the music, and it's just it's complicated now. I feel
It's
like
very very hard. Like, you cannot
it's
just
all
be
about
a
ads.
musician exactly like the TikTok game. Like, now labels, their strategy is just they're gonna sign, as you said, like viral kids,
Mm-hmm.
viral people. They got one song viral, like, oh my god, we have to sign them. And then if the person, like, they're gonna pay for their album and stuff, and if they don't get viral again, they just break the contract and they don't want to hear from them. So it's like, but being viral is like, it's not that something that you can just redo. You anyway. So yeah, it's very different from like 20 years ago, and like people, the kids, they just don't watch TV anymore. So if you're not on TikTok, you're just not gonna get the new generation.
Mm-hmm.
So because before it was like, okay, you pay the television, but you know that there's a lot of people watching it, so you're gonna get fans from the television, like, and stuff like this,
Yeah.
or the radio, so it was an investment, but you knew you could get some money back from it because you could sell albums, you could sell like digital stuff. So if you paid $1 million for a TV commercial, like going on and on, well, it's gonna be more easy to make back the 1 million. But now it's like, it's
Yeah.
very very
No.
different. So that's why I'm like, me as an artist, what pays the most is, like what I said, the coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and then I, of course, the shows, like I can ask a little bit more if I have a song that is doing well on Spotify, or like people discovered me from my music. Like, I probably paid advertisement, and I'm probably like below, like business wise, I'm in the red, as we say. Like, I'm like minus 2,000K, but I mean, if it gets me a lot of gigs and a lot of contracts, well, ooh, okay, well, I'm gonna pay me back, but not from the Spotify itself, but from stuff around.
And stuff. Yeah. That's the thing I don't like, that there's so many musicians, and so much talent, and in a
Mm-hmm.
way it just feels like they're just being discarded, you know what I mean, or easily replaced, but like it's not fair, and like also the way that everything is working, it just feels like music isn't as how you say uh it just the way that it works and everything is super different, you know. It doesn't it feels just so commercial, you know, in general. So for you to find like a nice artist that is kind of sometimes more indie, more underground, sometimes it's kind of hard. Sometimes I always just get you know, advertised of like for like people who are mostly, you know, either going viral or are just popular, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's always like always the same artist because there are three major labels like Universal, Sony, and Warner. And then if you're not with them, well, you're not gonna be pushed as much in the playlist.
Hmm.
And then so I mean that's for example that's my story. Like I don't get into editorial playlists. I think I got a week in like after 6 months my song was out and I pushed it like by myself, and then because the algorithm, or I don't know, they kind of noticed that there was something happening, they put my song in a nice playlist, but like for a week. But like that's it. But like if you have a label, they're gonna put it just because if you're like in the three majors, they're gonna put your songs. But like yeah, so and now how to get signed to those labels, or do you really want to get signed to those labels? So there's a lot of yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if like because they kind of control your art at the same time. So, but yeah, that's why I think I really believe in like the model of Patreon and stuff and being completely independent. Like you offer directly to like direct to fans products,
Mhm.
kind of. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's one solution to the future. Yeah.
Which makes sense, like you said, being independent and, you know, doing what you want to do, you know, not
Mm-hmm.
just like whatever. But I have one last question,
Yeah.
which would Um, so I can see that you do music out of passion and love for it, obviously, because I've known you for a couple of years. Like I went to see you at one of your shows as well. Is there any features that you wish that music streaming services had in order for you to showcase more of that passion? Because as we said, there's so commercial and everything. So with all this digital world, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think yeah, if there was a way to send, for example, because I can see, for example, in Spotify that this song has been saved, you know, or has been
Mhm.
added to private playlists like that many times. I'm like, ah, if I could just send a little email to those who really like the song and add it to their personal playlist. But as I said earlier, there's like no way to connect with these people. So if they forget to follow you on Instagram, because it's not really direct, like what would be nice is when you like a song or you add it to a playlist. Because me personally, sometimes I don't. It's not that I don't like the song. It's just I have many playlists personal, and
Mhm.
I don't save the song, but I put it in a playlist.
Yeah.
That's how I do my stuff. So I've noticed that the saves rate is a little lower, and I think people are doing that also. But anyway, so if after putting a song in the playlist, I could get maybe a little button, hey, like automatically, do you want to follow this artist on Instagram? Yes, and then it's done. And if I add the artist again in other playlists, well, they won't ask me because I already follow the artist, you know? I would
Hmm.
follow them all. It's just sometimes I don't have the habit to add the song, go to the profile, scroll down, find the Instagram or no, or just write the name. So if they could like link the social medias, I think, or yeah, that would be a little easier. I think it would help the artist, but it's just an idea.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it like when I sometimes I don't have the habit all the time, but sometimes I do look at the like the profile, but also like it gives you information, but
Yeah.
sometimes it just doesn't have anything. Or like let's say some more famous ones are like, oh, they're coming to Montreal or like on like Ottawa, not Ottawa, but Toronto, so it's near you and all that. But a lot of the smaller ones, I feel like there's no like you said, it's not easy to go and see like
Yeah.
their social media or stuff like that. But because usually what I do is that I find these artists on Instagram as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, like I don't know, one is from Montreal, one I don't know, it's from I don't know where, but like, and then I go to their Spotify. That's usually how sometimes I find them. Also, my algorithm sometimes it's good, but it's funny how instead of it being on the streaming services, I find them on social media and then I go to the streaming services, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So if they would like, yeah, make it a little easier, but and also like for the concert thing, that's very nice of Spotify to put it. It's just like you have to, it has to be a concert in a certain type of venue, and you have to sell your
Mhm.
tickets like on Ticketmaster, for example. So if I book like a bar in Montreal because I'm really indie, and I just sell the tickets at the door, well, I cannot announce it on Spotify. So that kind of sucks. Like it would be nice to just in the app, you have a concert, okay, like like Facebook events, you just put it.
Yeah.
You just put it like, and then exactly when you go on my profile, you would see like the more indie, smaller concert venues and stuff. Yeah, because I've tried to put my concerts, but because they're not on Ticketmaster or whatever
Mhm.
Eventbrite, I can't. Well, so yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it caters more obviously to like bigger venues and bigger
Mm-hmm.
events, but it's not helping the little guy, you know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
not.
I feel it. Spotify is very good for the big labels for now, but they're gonna. I hope they're gonna get better with time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big thing to like stop, music. How do you say that? Like the LimeWire stuff and like all the illegal streaming of early 2000. Like they kind of pretty much stopped it. Way. It's not as popular as it was. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest with you, I since I've used Spotify for a couple of years now, I don't even know any illegal
yeah,
places.
who would do that? It's just like
Yeah,
it's a little more
I don't know.
complicated even than before. Like, but yeah. So at
Yeah.
least they solved that problem. I think. It's funny because they're the same color. They are green, so it's like that's
Oh
the
yeah,
first
that's
thing that I
true.
noticed. Spotify when I saw Spotify, I was like, "Is it the new LimeWire?" Like
Oh my
back
God.
in 2017. Anyways, yeah,
Yeah. All right. Oh,
it's the
I'm just gonna
legal
stop
one. Hey, we're good. We did it. We did it in less than
in the
30
nice
minutes.
thing.
Recording stopped.
I stopped recording, but yeah. No, thank you so much. How are you, by the way? How you been?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Good.
working on a French project. So
Oh.
yeah, we'll try. We'll try to keep it closer to home because like my first album, I wanted to tour with the world, and I mean I could have, but COVID happened. So it
Mm-hmm.
changed your perspective. Like, okay, if the end of the world happens, well, I might have I need a project maybe closer to home. So yeah, and I've been inspired to write in French, so I'm gonna try it out. But I still have some songs in English that I'm gonna release. So yeah, writing a lot, coaching, and then I have to book shows, but it's like not on the top of my mind. But
Mm-hmm.
it's
Oh,
gonna
but
happen after.
that's really good. I'm really happy at least that, because you're doing what you like and what you love, so that's what matters in the end, you know?
Yeah, but I can't say that it's easy. Like
No, of
it's
course not.
very like it's
I can imagine.
yeah, and I mean I'm a business, so I have to do like this morning I was doing a budget and like okay, how much like my musicians are gonna cost me, how much the studio is gonna cost me, and then I'm trying to apply for grants or stuff like that, because in Canada, Quebec, there are some programs, but I don't know if my style they're gonna like it because usually what I see like the grants, it's almost always the same type of music.
Hmm.
So they kind of or two, three types of music. So I'll see. Depends of the judges when I. But yes, I'm really into it. Trying to have grants and maybe a GoFundMe like to pay the rest if I cannot get.
Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, so I'll try stuff. You'll see. I'll announce it
Yeah.